Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is Bryan Steele and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hi everybody. Let's just dive in. After I take a drink from my totally awesome, it is actually a sponsor, but it's actually totally awesome too. Ooh, and I ate ice cube. Hang on. Okay. What a way to start a video. Hey everybody. Let's go with the week in Bryan. Gaming wise, I got to play my Rifts game last week. We had fun. We were trying to figure out some of the parts of a mystery before we run off and deal with Long Stash Curly, a kind of a Psy bandit in the New West. We'll see. It was. I'm pretty sure it's lining us up. Like the next session's probably going to be a pretty gnarly firefight. But we're trying to put together all the mystery, like figure out why the whys and hows before we go in guns blazing. I'm glad. So the last session, I didn't do a whole lot in the last session, but we did get a chance to. One of the characters is a cyberdoc, and if you've played Rifts with a mixed. Like a mixed character background, you got some super combat characters, some magic characters, some, space characters, doing what Rifts does well. Sometimes if you are the support character, in this case, John's Cyberdoc, you can feel a little outshined, especially in combat situations. I was really glad that he got an episode of our game, a session more or less dedicated to him and his bank of skills, his ability to talk to people that are not frightened by the 10-foot tall, space wolf or the 8-foot tall dragon juicer. It was really cool, and my hat's off. It's not off because my hair is really out of control today. But my hat's off to our game master. Bryan did a really good job of making a session that is gearing up for the next. Making a session that is gearing us up for the next big event for the whole group, but making it a really cool experience for the one player that might get a little overshadowed when it comes to a combat game or a combat session. So I'm happy. It was a good time. It was always nice to get to play and stuff anyway, but it was nice to see John shine in his role. But honestly, apart from playing some Diablo and my kid getting me back into Sea of Thieves, I haven't really done a lot of gaming this week. A little bit of playtesting. Got to do some of my first mock games of Xeogenesis, which I'm doing some consulting for, some consulting development for, and it's cute. It's fun. Cute's not the right word. That's demeaning. Because it's not like a chibi game or something that's designed to be kawaii or cute. It is a faster game. I was playing with a low number of models. It's skirmish based, and it is how do I put it? The choices that you make, the tactical choices that you make, are very reactionary to what your opponent is doing. You can have a strategy, obviously, but if the dice fall weirdly, or if your opponent does something that you're not expecting, you need to be able to flex and move on the spot. A little bit further down the road, I will probably do an episode on Xeogenesis, mostly because I think it's a really good game. Andy Chambers did the primary designing on the main rule set. and it is it's a solid. It's got a lot of solid bones. It definitely it is not like other games that I have played. Which is good, which is a good thing, you know, and I'm not saying that in the fact that it's the weird outlier. No, it's a fresh experience, and I think that's something that can be far and few between in especially in the miniature gaming world. So yeah, more on that in the future. But I did get a chance to play a few games, and with the initial 2 Force lists, and I had a good time. Learned a lot, and know kind of the direction that me and the playtesters and the development crew need to take it. Which I guess goes into work. Which let's just go ahead and go to work. So yeah, because I'm working on Xeogenesis, it does mean that I did a little work. You know, playing that, it was partially work. I did get a chance to get a Warzone game in with 2 units that are that have recently had some pretty significant changes to how they function. 2 playtest units, and one of them a single model type activation. You know, not so. I mean, they're all single model activations in Warzone Eternal, but this particular model is really designed to kind of. It doesn't rely on others. It's not normally part of a 1-2 punch. It is very much a force to be reckoned with in and of itself, and I really leaned hard into trying to make it the linchpin of a force, and it did its job. I am still a little concerned about its survivability for the points that it costs, so I need to do a little tweaking to it and see if throwing another wound on there, or maybe even 2 more wounds, won't make it overpowered and outbalance what it does, or if it would be a better thing to leave it at the survivability that it's at, but go ahead and drop it by a couple of deployment points worth of cost, and see if it then fits in a better kind of a better role in most forces. Because obviously the goal is to make something fun, something cool, something awesome to see on the table, but also something that does not fall into the dreaded, I always take this situation that a designer does not want to see, or the I never take this situation where a designer, you know, as a designer, you never want to see something that is so broken or overpowered, or, you know, ultimately it's in every army not because of how cool it is, but because the rules say, it would be a no-brainer to take. But then the opposite side of the coin is also true. You don't want to ever design something that no one ever takes because it's just not good. So it does need a little bit more work, and I want to see which version, the more wounds or the less points, makes more sense to where it falls. The other unit was fine. The other unit I was testing is fine. It did exactly kind of what I figured it would do. That one is more of an actual squad, like multiple. It's not. I didn't just take one. I took 4 of them, and I think that they did what they were supposed to do. They survived about as long as I figured they would. I purposely made a mistake with one of them, and it cost me the model. And so that is one of the things that I do sometimes when I'm playtesting, is I will make, rather than, fighting tooth and claw and trying to win every game, I try and put these models into situations that I know will happen. And sometimes the situation that might happen is I overextended, or oops, I went after this guy when I shouldn't have. I should have played it safe, but nope, now I'm caught out in the open. So it was nice to see that for the most part what I expected to happen happened. and that's a good sign when it comes to playtesting. Shadowrun. Let's see. We had a couple of good announcements. The Augment Shadowrun in-world zine was announced, and in fact they put out a call for people to do open submissions. I know this will not shock you, but I will have a lot of stuff in Augment, so I'm excited to see that come together. It's going to be a very cool, like a magazine almost, but it's all told from the perspective of in-game. So the kind of thing that, like, in your Shadowrun game, you'll be able to go down to, you ought to be able to go down to the corner store and pick up have you picked up the most recent issue of Augment? So I think it's gonna be really cool. That's gonna be a neat thing. And then we also announced I believe the digital copies went on sale. I don't know about the physical ones, but the digital copies of the most recent Shadowrun and short story anthology, the Machines, Magic, and Mayhem, of which I have a story in, also with Russell Zimmerman, Mike Stackpole. There's a giant. It's a long list. It's a big book. It's a big anthology. So I'll put the link up to that in the description. But we announced that this week. And then I am still waiting to hear about whether or not I need to do some changes to the next Shadowrun novel before I dive in. I'm a little frustrated with how long this is taking, because I was hoping to have this book pretty well written by like December, and that is just not feasible at this time. So my time schedule on the next Shadowrun novel has definitely kind of moved around. Now, that being said, it's cool because I know what the third I know what RJ and John want me to do for the third novel in this particular 3 set. We talked about it at length at Gen Con, and it's a much more meta-tied story. So I do know that at some point I've got to get to that, because those stories need to come out because they're timed with the stuff that's happening in World. But I really want to get in. I really want to start putting words to page on this, even though I know I don't have the free time to do it. I really want to get started on it, and I know that they're very busy, and I know that because this is this particular novel in this gig, this 3-book gig, is a fun novel. It's not a like hardcore meta novel. It's a lower priority, but I really want to get started on it. So I do need to reach out to John and try and grease the wheels of justice and get that thing moving. Let's see, anything else? Evil Genius stuff. So things progress as normal with Evil Genius right now. I spent most of this week and a lot of last week writing art orders for the Intergalactic Heroes Player's Guide. A little known fact, I did an episode on art and stuff a while back, a few months ago. But writing art orders, I think, is fun, but it is also taxing. It is a long process, especially for a big book, and a 256-page book has a lot of art orders to write, and research, and make inspiration codes, and if you have any hand sketches that I've got to do, I got to do the hand sketches and get them uploaded, and so it's a lot, but knowing that that's done, it's another box that I've ticked. The art orders are written. I can now move on to the next stage of that book's development, and it's a way to know that really good things are coming. And in this particular case, I also prioritized some of the art in the art order, our Excel doc or Google doc that we've got set up for me to write the art orders. I highlighted about 20, I think, 20 pieces of art that I kind of want those to be the first things that get done. Not only because I think that it'll be a nice way to kind of set the mood for the other pieces of art when it comes to style. Some of those characters, some of those iconic character concept sketches and things are going to be the ones that are going to draw people in when it comes to like doing the crowdfunding campaign. Or also there are scenes that I want illustrated in the book starring some of the other characters that are also in the book, which means I need to get those guys done first. So then I can, when I tell an artist, hey, I need this scene starring this character, I can then grab that character and go, this is the character. Here you go. And it's that way. There's not any artist or interpretation of what the guy's supposed to look like. It's because this is what he looks like. So that was a cool thing to check off. And then the other thing we got when it comes to Evil Genius, we planned out the next like 5 or 6 installments of the Ego program, which some of them are going to be super fun. I mean, they're all going to be fun, but like specifically, there's going to be a few of them that I think are going to resonate very well with our target audience. So I'm excited to see all of that come together. And then I went ahead and scheduled. I've got a couple of like legitimate IGH playtest sessions with the outside playtesters, with a couple of people in the company that are now on the books. I know when we're going to get to see some of these people make characters, see some of these people use some of the rules and stuff in motion. And that is always it's always a good feeling to see my rules come to life, but also it's a great way for me to find any problems that might arise. Like if some two playtesters make almost the exact same character, but they change one small thing, and one becomes nigh unplayable, and the other one is the star of the show, I know that there's a tweak that needs to happen. So it's all of this put together, it's just pushing us closer and closer to a very cool result. Like the end product here is going to be really, really great. Talked to a few of my fellow adventure writing and author industry friends about possibly doing some cool stuff with Intergalactic Heroes. Got some responses that I was sad to hear, because they, obviously the people who I'm asking, they're busy people. So getting them to try and fit something in that might be next summer, like next spring or whatever. It's hard without having a hard fast date attached to some of these things. But I did get a couple of very good responses, and I definitely got a couple of people interested in, if they can't get a chance to write for us, they at least want to be involved with, like, maybe playing it online sometime, or spreading the word to their audiences. So I'm very, very happy with how things are shaping up for IGH, and I think that it's going to end up being a big thing for Evil Genius, and I think that it's going to be it's going to set us up to know how to handle things when we do like Everyday Arcana later on, and gives us a good chance at some pretty solid cinematic licenses because if the core book launches really well, you have more to come to the table with when you go to a Hollywood production company, a license holder, and go, we want to make a book that uses this very popular, very successful game line with your thing. So all in all, very, very happy. Professionally speaking, I am feeling good. Getting ready for Gamehole Con. I know it's still like 2 months away. but I'm starting to put all the pieces together, so that way when it gets closer to the show, I don't have to stress. I had a really, really cool meeting with all the DMs that are running the 50th anniversary special event at Gamehole. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you're going to that show, I would sign up for one of those. Whether or not it's one that I'm in, I don't care. You really, really want to be involved with that because it's going to be a ton of fun. And very high production quality, like as far as the event itself. Alex is really, really going all out. So obviously D&D means a lot to him. So celebrating the 50th anniversary of D&D at Gamehole, his show, is a big deal to him, and it shows. It definitely it reflects in his decisions and how much of himself he's putting into this. So I'm very, very excited there. Which brings me to painting, actually. So I finished painting all of the bad guys for one of my Gamehole special events, which I'm also going to run a couple of times at GaryCon. I put those events in, so there's gonna be some intergalactic heroes at GaryCon as well. So just stay tuned on that. But my painting desk was dominated with aliens and guys with guns for quite a while, and now it is dominated by a model for Conquest, because actually this weekend I've got a Conquest event with me and my friends, and I was really kind of hoping to be able to show up with a fancy painted centerpiece. I don't know if I'll have time. I only got a couple of days, and I don't want to rush through this. But I have been putting paint on it, and when it's done, I'll show you guys. I am excited. And then finally, because I'm doing it on kind of a weird roundabout way, on a personal level, things are doing good. Natalie's having some hardship this week with, she's got another sinus infection, and her legs have been really, really giving the nerve damage and stuff in her legs are really giving her a lot of grief this week. But for the most part, everyone is feeling okay. I mean, I know that sounds so bad to be like, her legs are feeling like they're on fire all the time, and she can barely walk around the house sometimes, but she's feeling fine. It's all about the status quo, and she's always in kind of a lot of pain, and some days are worse than others, but she's not throwing up, she's not running a fever, that's what I mean by, she's not sick and she's fine. She's never fine. She has a degenerative nerve disease, but it's not out of the ordinary. She's not also fighting COVID. She's not got pneumonia, something along those lines. If you ever wonder why I say, she's feeling fine, she's never feeling completely fine. That's not true. But that's like me saying I'm feeling skinny. That's not how it is. Speaking of which, to get off that topic, going to the gym, I started hitting the weights again. My shin splint is completely healed. I was able to do my full cardio routine, and it wasn't even sore. I mean, more sore than normal anyway. It wasn't abnormally sore. It was normal sore. Normal going to the gym sore. But yeah, everything is doing generally fine. Connor gets his braces on next week, I think. Next week or 2 weeks, and then we are still working out the travel details, but I will be missing a week later this month of work and everything because I've got some filming to do of something very, very cool. And while I'm out there filming is when Connor gets his the final part of the orthodontic thing goes into effect. I'm sad that I'm not going to be here for it. It is. I know that it's going to be kind of an ordeal, but I also know that I do not handle medical and dental stuff very well. I kind of panic. I go to like the worst case scenario. I do kind of spiral out of control a little bit, and I don't want to have my reactions affect how he's feeling. So I think it's a double-edged sword. It's a mixed blessing, that I will be out of the country when he gets that application put in, or that appliance put in, because I don't want to be the one I wouldn't want to be the one that freaks him out. And I think it will be better for me to know that things are going well, and that afterwards he just, like, get in touch with him afterwards when we're done filming and stuff, and just find out how he's doing. Excuse me. Because I will be worried about him. It is the first time that he's having general anesthesia. It's the first time that he's ever had, like, nitrous or anything like that, and I know he's going to be scared, and I internalize a lot of when he is not well. Not like it's my fault, but I worry way more. I get very freaked out, and my catastrophic thinking syndrome, or whatever it's called, complex, it goes into overdrive when it comes to my son. So I will be glad to have the distraction of being elsewhere filming something awesome, but I will want to know everything's cool afterwards. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's really it. I know it was kind of a relatively long week in Bryan, but that's because there's a lot going on, I do these videos not only to be educational and to impart cool gamer knowledge to you folks, but also to kind of sort out the stuff in my brain and point out all the things that are happening and whatnot. So I appreciate you sticking with me through 27 minutes of me rambling on about my life. But without further ado, let's talk about Epic Encounters. The reason you came here. So at Gen Con, I know it was a while ago, but I've been busy, and I wanted to save this. These have been mocking me from the corner of the studio for weeks now. My good friends over at Steamforge Games, thank you for supplying these boxes. But I managed to leave it in the shrink wrap, folks. So these have been sitting here staring at me, waiting, cool stuff at my fingertips, and I have been able to ignore it for almost 3 weeks. No, almost 4 weeks. So let's take a look. All right, so we're going to start with this is the Epic Encounters product box. This is Palace of the Drow Queen. It is the back blurb is driven by a hatred of the surface world and their need for vengeance. The Drow visit devastation wherever they tread. The plans of their queen must be thwarted, no matter the cost. All right, and so now we open the shrink wrap. So this is the first time that I've had a chance to see these guys. So all of my reactions are exactly that. They are her reactions. All right, let's set the box off to the side to carry parts and pieces. We have our obligatory ad, which, is the thing. And then we have our double-sided map. We got the booklet, which we'll go through that here in a second. We have our double-sided map. This particular map is, one side looks like maybe it's like maybe a boat. Wait, is it a boat? Because it kind of looks like water down there. Like, it looks like maybe like the hull of a boat. I'll have to look at the thing, or maybe it's That's like the bottom of the cave. I don't know. I don't like. Off the top of my head, I cannot see exactly what this is. And then the other side is looks like almost like an internal like a room. Like see the doors at the top. There's walls. There's bookshelves. So yeah, I think this might be some kind of like. Wait, I mean it's called the Palace of the Drow Queen. I wonder if it's like a moving palace. I don't know. That's cool. Alright, and so now we take out the cool container that has the models in it. And we will look at these guys. We have... Man, it's pretty cool so far. Alright. It's always come in their own little cool tray here. Let's take a look at the box. Or the thing. Alright, so we have... introduction, normal, cool piece of art. Shows a spider queen person. We have some story of this world's drow. We've got it. Okay, it does say the docks. I was right. It looked like some kind of like boat. Maybe her palace is a boat. The dock location. So that map it is in fact docks, and there are different dock locations, which leads up to the jetty. It leads up to a boat that floats out to the palace. The palace is a float. Okay, cool. I was right. It is the. Oh no. Okay, so they're the palace is just not it's just not on the mainland, so you have to like boat out across like a subterranean lake to get there, or something of that. I'm not reading the whole thing because that would be rude to them and put a bunch of spoilers in here, but it is something cool. The palace itself, there's an entrance hall, there's stairs. There's a reception chamber, a negotiating table, the fountain, and some treasure for if you do stuff here. And then we have stats. Let's talk about the stats. Let's do stats. All right, so we have the basic Drow warrior. Okay, we have our basic Drow warrior. Has a cool kind of swooping shield, a very angular sword, wearing a helmet. I mean, he's just a solidly cool fig. And there are 4 of them. And then we have 4 Drow crossbowmen. Different kind of helmet, kind of a weird patchy cape. Cool pose, cool crossbow. They do such good minis. They really, really do. Yeah, but it's a really cool looking guy. Let's see if I can get you to focus on him a little bit. But there are 4 of them. And then we have lizard cavalry. So this is cool because a lot of times they almost always put drow cavalry on like spiders. So this is neat. Oh wow, this is a cool. There's 2 of these in the. Yeah, I gotta really want to paint one of these guys. There's 2 of these in the thing, and it's just like a sword and shield drow, basically a drow warrior, riding on a kind of lizard, bearded dragon-ish type war mount. It's cool though. It's got great detail. Teeth, tongue, eyeballs. And there's 2 of those, and they're just calling those lizard cavalry. And then we have 3 Oniromancers, which, if you don't know what that means magic of dreams. And he is they float kind of on like a sort of a wispy, smoky. They're kind of levitating a little bit. This is the first one that doesn't have a helmet. But he's got kind of just an open, like a spell that he's currently weaving. It's all smoke between his hands. And there are 3 of those. Let's see whether they have anything cool. Whoa, okay, that's neat. One of the in the Oniromancer, his stat line, one of his special abilities is unusual nature. The Oniromancer doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. When it drops to 0 hit points, it becomes a lifeless husk as its essence returns to the Drow Queen, ready to be imbued in a new vessel. Whoa, okay, that's rad. So they're like, oh, they're constructs. They're dream constructs. So they're not really they're pieces of her dreams given form. That's really cool. And one of the other special abilities they have is the Oniromancer makes no physical attacks, but any character making an attack against it within 10 feet must succeed in a DC 14 intelligence check before being able to make the attack. If they fail, they automatically miss their attack, instead swinging wildly at an imagined version of the Oniromancer. So it's like it has a constant weird version of mirror image because it's a dream construct. Okay, that's really, really cool. That is, again, these guys... did Richard do this one? Let me see if Richard August did this one as well. Where are the credits? Where are the credits? Probably in the back. Writer, Richard August. Game design, Matt Hart. Yeah, so Hart and Richard August. Oh! And my buddy Ginny. Ginny did additional writing and editing. Oh, very cool. I did not know that. Congratulations, guys. You made a good thing. So that's really cool. That's a one of the things that I really dig about the Epic Encounter stuff is that, yes, they're taking models that everybody and their brother could use Drow in their games. You know, like it's always nice to have spare soldiers. Like if you have a mission or a game that's going to be focused on doing stuff in the Underdark, having extra Drow handy is a great thing to do. But in a way to make it so that they're not just all, standard form, monster manual, dark elf warrior, dark elf crossbowman, dark elf. They give them a little extra pizzazz. In this case, lizard cavalry, the Oniromancers. So there's a little extra there that makes this special and unique and worth the money that you bought to add this stuff, to add these stat lines to your repertoire. Is I would have never thought to make Dark Elf Dream Construct warrior things. I would have never thought about that. And so now that they exist, now that they're here, and now that I've got 3 models for them, it would be pretty cool to throw these into a game and let people, even if we don't use this adventure, just to have these as an idea, a place to seed for my own purposes. All right, we have 2 Drow Whirlwinds, and these are they don't have helmets. This is another soldier without a helmet. Let me see if I can get him stand upright. But this looks like he's more almost like a whirling dervish. He's 2 swords. The backs of his gauntlets looks like they actually have like daggers on them, like almost like punch daggers on them. Like I can tell just by looking at this model that he is a close combat machine of whirling and spinning death, and his name, the Whirlwind, helps. So yeah, he has. Oh, whoa, that's already very cool. So in a way to make him cooler than just, he's got 2 swords. Yeah, he's got extra swings and all that stuff, but he also has, they call it Ferocious Assault. The Drow Whirlwind always acts first in initiative order. Period. It's literally just, that's it. That's the thing. Oh, wait a minute. Huh. This is even cool. I just noticed that the whirlwind is also a construct and has that unusual nature thing that when they die, they become a lifeless husk and they go to the Drow Queen, ready to be put in a new vessel. And so I was like, you know what, that's weird, because I understand it with the Oneiromancer, but why with the whirlwinds? And then I looked, I was like, you know, let's just go back and look at the Drow Warrior. The Drow Warrior is a construct that has the unusual nature. The Lizard Cavalry does not, because it's just basically the stats are for the lizard, but it makes me wonder if in the story of this, all of the Drow in this world setting, in this adventure, if all of them are just pieces of the Drow Queen, like they're all just an extension of her will or something. I'll have to look. I'll have to read deeper into this in the future. But that's interesting to see that all of the regular Drow are actually not humanoids. They're not elves. They're constructs. It's very cool. And then our last one we have in here is the actual Drow Queen herself. Very cool model. She is tall and elegant and has spider feet under, like, you're not going to be able to see it real well, but on her base, maybe under her dress, they've got 4 little spiky things, like protrusions. So it's almost like, and you can't see her regular legs. So it's almost like maybe she doesn't have regular legs, like maybe she just has like a set of 4 spider legs holding her up. And then she's got her regular human arms, and she's reaching out like she's kissed the ring, but she has these 4 protruding spider, like spider extension arm scythe things. Very cool model. Very cool model. And with her thing, oh, okay. So she's a construct, and then her power, one of her powers is she has a spider mech. The queen wears a large ancient drow exoskeleton. It has a +8 to hit and grants her 1 additional action per turn. In addition, she can never be surprised while wearing it, and creatures do not gain advantage when attacking the queen as a result of her being attacked by other creatures simultaneously. Oh, so she does like flanking, or if you're playing in a game where pack tactics is coming into play or something like that, she never gives that bonus. Very cool. But she is also a construct. Yeah, I'm gonna read into this and find out why all the Drow are constructs in this world, because that is very, very cool. And then our last double page is a picture of a golden super Drider looking thing. So very, very cool there. I always love these things. I cannot tell people enough about how great the Epic Encounter series is, and I still want to. I know, Richard, you're listening, and you and I have talked. I still want to write one of these for you guys, because they're very cool, and I want to be part of that process. I want to be part of this process. All right, so that is the Palace of the Drow Queen is now done, bringing us to the Lair of the Drider, the boss version of this pair of epic encounters. Alright, so we have, now for obvious reasons, this is not going to be a regular Drider like you would find in regular D&D, because obviously these Drow are totally different. And this is one of their big epic encounters boxes, so it's going to be a very large model, I would assume. We have our advertisement, as expected. Get in there. The map, we have our 2-sided map is, I already see some glowing crystals. Yeah, come on. We have a kind of a web and pillar contained. It's just a very cavernous, lot of area to run around in. And the other side, similar situation but with different colored crystals and a larger. I'm gonna assume that looks like some kind of like an underground lake pond kind of thing, like a wet area. So cool map there. And in fact, yeah, I'm gonna set that off to the side. I think that's a map. Sometimes these maps are very specific, like that dock scene or the palace itself from the other box. It would be harder to fit that into literally just anywhere. Whereas this, an underground cave that has some glowing crystals and some water pools, you could totally use this map in a dozen different ways, not just with the Lair of the Drider. We have our booklet, which we'll talk about here in a second. We have the as I've mentioned this before, that the boss encounter type things, they always, in case you bought this first or you bought this separate from here, like you didn't get these, they always want to make sure that it's not just, oh, here's the boss and here's its stats and a map. So they add in tokens that represent some of the models that you get in the regular box, or the regular encounter box. So in this case, it comes with 10 Drow warrior tokens. So if you don't happen to have the Drow warrior models from that box, or maybe you just need more because this particular adventure is very dependent on having Drow warriors nearby, they give you those tokens to help fill out the ranks. Okay, let me pull the lid off here. So get him out. Pull the lid off. It's got that cool, recessed spot for the tokens, so you don't lose those. But then the actual, oh, this is a cool one. I like this guy. This is a cool model. Move all this stuff out of the way. We have the Drider. Again, he's a gargantuan version, so he's very big. He has a very big beastie. But he's got great sculpted parts. All of his limbs are they're accessible. This would be a very good, easy model to paint. He has these upper cool arms. He's got more arms coming out of, more scything arms that come out of his front. He's got big, long human, well, I guess Drow arms, but then also in the Drow arms, they have these wrist. I'm off camera. He's got these wrist blades that are kind of coming up out of here. Very cool. He's wearing armor. There's armor on him, but it's mostly just kind of twisted flesh and it's a very interesting thing. How many legs does this thing have? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got the bottom body has 8, but then he also has 6 upper limbs. So this thing's just covered in spiky bits. But it's got that cool armor. Yeah, this is a neat monster. And I don't know if you can get close enough. I don't know if I can get the focus on that face. But the face of it's very monstrous. He's got very heavily pronounced ears. He's got high brow eyes, jagged teeth. It is not it is not a normal elf, right? This is not a normal Drider. This is something very, very gnarly. And we will look here in the thing. All right, so the Lair of the Drider encounter. There's a cool picture of a skull that's got all kinds of spider eyes. I wonder if I get real close if he's got lots of eyes. Well, doesn't. Well, maybe. No. There's definitely extra eyes there. Yeah, no. So he's got spider eyes. we've got the encounter aspects, to the terrain, the very crystals and webs. What rules for Drider webbing, for like moving through it. Sickly crystals. So some of the crystals in the cave put out auras that are gross. Stand too close to them for too long, and your skin begins to itch. Your bones burn. Your teeth melt. Teeth melt. But yeah, so it sounds like you start taking poison damage if you're close to the crystals. There's tunnels in and out of each layer. They've done the automated. If you were running this and you didn't want to have to think about exactly what it can do, it does. Here's this action leads to this action, leads to this action, so forth and so on. Oh yeah, very, very cool. One of the things it can do is, so here's its different things that it does. It has restoration, where it wraps itself in its own glittering silk, which act as healing potions. Basically, it heals its wounds. It has a nasty stinger. It's not a stinger on its abdomen. It's a stinger attack with one of its weapons. Something basically one of its limbs juts out and does a thing. And you're poisoned, of course. It can shoot webs. It can go through those tunnels. So like it can go out a tunnel and come in a different direction. That's very cool. It always has some Drow warriors protecting it. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. This is so neat. It can phase shift, so it can basically go in and out of the ethereal realm. It's got some very cool treasure. Yeah, very, very cool. Cool piece of art. Now the cool piece of art shows it armed with weapons, which this one is not, but that's okay. And then it's got rules for the Drow warrior. And the 3 names for the Drider is the Drider corruption, the Drider blasphemy, and the Drider abomination. Which, great names for the 3 difficulty levels of this Drider. Very cool. Very, very cool. I really, really like this one. I mean, I like them all, but like this model is great. Well worth. I would love to have something like this to put down on the like, even if you weren't doing like a Drow centric game, surprising your opponents. Ooh, that was some GM adversary. Surprising your players with this sort of Drow demon monster abomination thing. Having this crawl out of a tunnel to come get everybody would be awesome. And I do not run enough D&D, but I every time I open one of these, I'm like, man, I would love to use this, and I do. I would love to use this. But this is a particularly cool beastie. I'm very, very happy with these guys. They did it. They did a great job. Yay! All right. So that's the unboxing for the week. Thank you so much to Steamforge Games for sending me these things, or rather, handing them to me at Gen Con. In order to do the unboxing, I look forward to doing more in the future. I always love these things. The Epic Encounters is really one of my favorite gaming supplements. I mean, they are adventures, and they're gaming products. It's one of my favorite gaming products on the market, and I absolutely hope that in the future I get a chance to write one of these for them. Dagnabbit. But from me to you, and from the Drider himself, this was fun. This was great. It's a good week. I will see you next week. But until then, please stay safe. Wash your hands. Try not to try not to do anything horrible. Don't lick doorknobs. Get your shots. Wear a mask if you have to. But just really try and make every room a little happier than when you got there. And I think everything's going to be okay. Until next time, have some fun. Play some games. Because you know I'm gonna.